in November, and well, the games, college games, are going to be very interesting. The NBA is highly competitive. Let's just talk about a couple things here that will tie into our mental skills series. First place, in our head, we should always know the position of our clocks. Steal a look when possible. Coming up in the backcourt, steal a look. Shot clock, game clock. Have the answer when there's a malfunction or there has to be an adjustment of the clock. It will be a crew saver. It will help you in your management of the game immensely. Secondly, know your team fouls. Always know, am I bonus or not? Am I going to the free throw line or am I going to the side? Again, professionalizes your actions on the floor. And then lastly, understand the emotional tenor of what's happening on the floor. Are there disruptors? Where are they? Are there certain matchups that are problems? What is the feeling as far as is there emotional frustration on one team or another because of the way things are going? So that you are reducing the surprises and you're ready to respond when certain things happen. So this will keep you on top of it. So keep the clocks in your head, know the team fouls, and then know the overall emotional tenor of what's going on the floor. Looking forward to staying in touch with each one of you, and have a great week. Members, we got Appalachian State at Michigan. End of game. Now look, App State's got 67. They're down 5. Look at the time, 38.8. So we want to have a feel. We want to know what their approach will be. This is very common. You'll see here that they're coached to trap, put pressure in the backcourt to create a turnover. Then, when the ball gets to the front court, they're one trap and then a take. So, well done by the crew. We have to know when that changes. We have to know when the take fouls are imminent so that we call the touch. We have to know when they're not taking, when they're putting pressure, trying to create a turnover. But that's a feel for the game, but it's something that we need to communicate within our crew, but also have a great sense of that. This crew did a nice job. It changed from trap to take. I know that there's been an emphasis on legal footwork. I emphasize legal footwork, knowing that players work extremely hard. So if you look at this play, as number 10 receives the basketball from Washington, he is now, his right foot is the pivot foot. Ball comes forward, release of his hand prior to the ball, his foot leaving the floor. So it's a legal play. And as we go about our business, we want to make sure that when we blow the whistle for travel, that it is obvious that the call is itself. Because this player the next day is going to watch film with his coaches, and he's going to ask his coaches, what can I do? And the coaches will say, nothing, that's legal. So we changed the possession there. Know the footwork and know when we do and when we do not. Stay with the Washington-Baylor game, and we're going to talk to you about coverage on travel plays or footwork or not, on plays where the offensive player is on the end line and the lead is refereeing defender contact. So you can see here that the lead has a trap that he's got to work with. So he's refereeing the legality of those two defenders. Trail now picks up the feet of the offensive player, team officiating, and calls the travel. So think of yourself in the trail position when the lead has a decision to make as far as legal contact or not. You must help with the feet. A rebounding sequence here. Remember some principles here. Number 1, process the play, and before you do anything, know the position of the ball. This is critical. That is number 1. So you see this play where the ball goes above two opponents. So that really was what we would look at as a 50-50 ball. So we really allow, there's going to be some marginal contact there. At the same time, it's going to be legal and allowable contact. And this play here is better served as a no call. But know the position of the ball and know the consequence of the contact. A post-crossing play, we're going to discuss coverage. So we have a little rotation now. The ball goes to the low post. Now, as soon as the ball goes across the lane, the offensive player leads with his right shoulder, puts the ball on the deck with his left hand, automatically that should be to the center official, my call, my play. And you got to position yourself so that you're open. Because if you see this play, the lead becomes closed. the trail doesn't have a great look. This is really all center. And then you can referee the legality of the defender, which in this case, the defender leads with his chest and displaces the offensive player. But this play is much better served, more consistently called when the center official takes the play. Got a kind of a complex play here, and there are a few things going on. So very athletic play at the rim, offensively and defensively. And you see where the defender gets up to the ball, but on his follow-through, fairly aggressive, and there's contact on the outside shoulder, as well as it looks like part of the head. So we could certainly have a defensive foul. Now, the next part, where the rim is displaced, offensive interference when the ball passes through prior to the rim going back to its original position. So that part is correct, and it would be offensive interference. But there's a lot happening on this play. The offensive interference is a correct call. Back to App State, Michigan, we're going to want to see a play here, transition, where the offensive player is going straight downhill and really somewhat out of control. Now, yes, the defender has to be outside the RA. We want him legal. But we're certainly going to lean towards offensive foul because there is a responsibility here. The offensive player must have himself under control. And here you can see that there's clearly an offensive foul. Play sequence, we're going to show you Florida State, Florida. And these are defensive plays at the rim where the lead official, center official, do an excellent job of processing the play, rewarding legal defense. And you'll see when you have multiple defenders that you have to help each other. And then ultimately it's good defensive basketball, and the defensive team retains possession of the ball. The key to these plays is to be process-oriented and just take your time and make sure you get all of the information before you blow the whistle. So good, solid officiating here.